location and
so
everything.
whenever I talk about the story, I recount that I remember how I felt, the feeling of opening that message and seeing NYC say, "Oh, Plateau State," and I lived in Lagos, and the story we hear about Plateau State is the insecurity, the killing, the just crisis. And so I got really scared. I said, "I'm not going." My parents said, "You just have to go, and maybe you can redeploy. For security reasons, you can give them reasons, but you have to go." And so I went. And then I got to Jos. The first thing I experienced was the weather. The weather was extremely cold compared to Lagos. I said, "Okay, this is nice. This feels good."
Nice in Nigeria.
And then the sky was blue, very blue, and you could hear the birds chirp, like the birds were singing. And I feel like living in Lagos, you never really pay attention to the fact that there are birds in the sky and they're singing. So that was the first experience I had, and then I decided to, I said, I don't think I want to be deployed for now. Let me go to the city. So after the camp, I went to the city, and that's where I came across fresh strawberries. And when I saw the strawberries, I asked, I said, "How much is it?" She said 500 naira. I was shocked because in Nigeria in 2018, if you wanted fruits like strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, you could only get them in selected stores that import into the country.
True.
You can't just find them anyhow. But here I am in just Plateau State, and strawberries are being hawked on the road like gala. So I was really shocked, and so I bought all the strawberries. I went back to my friends that were also coppers, and I said, "Did you know that strawberries grow in Nigeria?" And they said, "No, I did not even know that." And we said, "You know what? Let's go to the farmers market." So we went to the farmers market, and this farmers market, it had all the farmers from different parts of Nigeria, Plateau State. They were all, it's just a place where they come to every Tuesday. Exactly. No, it's called Building Materials Farmers Market. It's where all the farmers from far and wide in Plateau State, they all come together to sell their...
Plateau? Is it Bukuru?
No, it's well, how would I describe it to you? Building materials. It's like a normal, when you say building materials, everybody knows Building Materials Farmers Market. And so when you just get there, it happens every Tuesday. That's where all the farmers, so it's not easy for them to be coming every single day to the city. So that's where they all converge, they meet up, they sell their produce. But at that time, in 2018, it was very quiet. Not a lot of people were buying. And so I met the farmers, and I took a picture of the strawberries from them, and I posted it on Twitter, and that post went viral. It went so viral that I could not even use my phone, and I started getting orders, customers, and I was just like, what's going on? And I realized that it wasn't only me that was surprised. A lot of people were also surprised that strawberries grow in Nigeria. And so that's how we started. And that's how I started buying from the farmers, supplying them to consumers, just creating access to markets. Like there was just a bridge that I needed to bridge. I knew that, okay, this place in Plateau State has, lots of produce, but there was no market. Meanwhile, in Lagos, in Abuja, there was demand, but nothing, scarcity, and it was very expensive. So I was bridging that market, but I also realized that a lot of issues that we had, in terms of the reason why there's post-harvest loss and food waste is because lack of access to markets. Logistics is one of the biggest problems, and that's the challenge that I'm still facing even up to now. We've been trying to stop for logistics for the past 7 years, and we haven't been able to do so because there's no cargo planes. There's nothing, that we have that is just for logistics. The planes, we have to share the planes with passenger luggage. So there's no system in place.
Designated
system in place for fresh produce. And everybody keeps saying post-harvest loss, but how are we going to solve this post-harvest loss, right? And so when we realize that there's some things that we can't even ship because of access to logistics, we process. So when we realized that there's no designated logistics system just for fresh produce, just for Nigerian grown produce, we started processing most of our produce into jams and marmalades, right? And just freezing them also so that it's available all year round. So when we have like overripe mangoes, guavas from the farm, instead of shipping them because they're already too ripe, we start processing them into jams and marmalades. Another thing that I also realized doing my course in this business is also the fact that there's no access to data. There's no access to education, consumer education, farmer education. Everybody is just doing it's just everybody's just doing what they are doing. Not, farmers do not even have the education to know that this is right, this is wrong. And that's where we also came in. We started educating them, and we started learning from other farmers in other countries. And that's why I said we have a network of farmers. Right now it's currently 2,000, and that's because we've expanded from just Plateau State to other states. Jigawa, discovering that there are other produce that are growing in Nigeria. So it's not only strawberries, there are things that are growing. Rambutans is growing in Akwa Ibom, Uyo, dates, fresh dates that, people import from Dubai. These dates are growing in Jigawa State, in Maiduguri. You discover things that you never ever imagined, and there's so much potential in Nigeria. And so we started connecting all our farmers, like we created like a network. All the farmers that we have in our network, they know each other. They can call each other up and say, oh, this is wrong with my tree. You also have the tree. How did you fix it? And that's just the importance of, building a sustainable food system. Everyone is connected.
So your business, what's the name? How did it come about?
The Grocery Lady?
Yes.
How did I come about the Grocery Lady? I think, another thing I would say is I had the help of people and friends, and that's what NYSC gave me. NYSC was so important in my journey because I had other people that were from other states, and we all came together, and they saw, they were there to witness when my post went viral. Exactly. And then they said, you know what, let's give it a name. And we sat down together, all, thinking and just thinking like, okay, what name? And we were just throwing names around. And we all fell asleep even from even doing that. And I think I woke up and I said, the Grocery Lady. And everybody was like, yes. So it feels good, that community, you need it. You can't do business without community, without help. You can't do it alone. And so you need those people to help you, to support you, to keep pushing you on, to tell you do not give up. So, and that was what I had. I had community, I had people from the start. So that's how it came about the Grocery Lady. It was just a name that we all just, it just came to me, the Grocery Lady, because I realized it's not just only me, right? It's a collective effort. There are women behind me. A lot of the farmers that are there that I made friends with were women. And I said, well, the Grocery Lady, we're all together like groceries and, lady. And that's it.
Okay, so what advice do you have for the Nigerian youth, especially regarding innovation, entrepreneurship?
What advice I would have is that wherever you find yourself, do not limit yourself. Look for problems that you can solve. Think of how can you fix the problem. Look for where you can come in, right? And then just try to think outside of the box. Just try to, use social media. Right now, social media is a tool for growth, and a lot of people are not utilizing it the way they should. Put your work out there, use social media. You don't have to wait for someone to, talk about your business, yourself. No one will tell your story better than you. And that's where, I would tell Nigerian youth they should just think outside of the box, right? Be innovative. Look at where you can come in. Like now, if I have someone that is thinking of how to solve logistics or how to solve the fragmented market, that would really help. And when it comes to technology, a lot of people think that technology is just, big tech, but you have to create something that works for the people in the rural community. Don't give us drones. Don't give the farmers drones. They don't need drones. What they need is, not every farmer has drip irrigation. What some farmers need is rainwater. What can collect rainwater for them? That's technology. When you are thinking of technology, how can I help? What can I come in? What areas can I come in? Don't just think of technology that does not really help us. Like the technology has to be tailored to our, our climate, our demands. And that's where I would say that if you're thinking of how to come in, think of a device that can help farmers collect rainwater. Not every farmer has access to, to create bowl for themselves. So they all wait for like when it's rainy season so they can use rainwater to water their plants. So if you can create a technology that can even track weather, I can even track flood, I can even track, today this is going to be the weather, it's going to be really cold. Those kind of things are very, very important, right? Data, which is why I said that any youth that wants to come, you need to learn about data. Gathering data, not only gathering the data, but using that data for good. Create something where we can know that, okay, it's going to rain and the rain is going to be very heavy. Do not plant this produce. Like, this is the best time to plant that, this is the best time to plant this. Even pests, right? Every single year, if you notice, there's a period every single year where we have lots of, what do they call it? What do they call these insects? The bugs, flies.
Those tiny ones.
There's a fly period. There's a period when there's like a lot of flies, but no one still knows how to track, or when do they start coming out, when do they stop, so that people can even prepare for that period. So that's what we need the youth to come up with ideas and technology and ways to improve agriculture for the people in the rural communities, not just the big tech, but something that can help solve all these problems for farmers. Pest infestation, weather control, and the weather control data should not just be one big app. Text message to their phones, like alerts, like when you get alerts like, oh, alert, today is going to be really, the rain is going to be very heavy today, there's going to be a sandstorm, there's going to be this, prepare for this. Those are very, very important tools that can help our farmers to grow better, and also the technology that youth can also bring into.
Let's talk about your future. So let's say in the next 5-10 years, where do you see the grocery
lady?
Yes.
I think in the next 5 to 10 years, what we're looking at doing now is expanding to not only, extending our network, not only within Nigeria, but we want our farmers to also learn from farmers that are doing well. We all know that Kenya and South Africa are leading when it comes to export of fresh produce around the world. You go to Waitrose, you go to Walmart, you will see maybe strawberries, you pick it up, you see that products of South Africa, products of Kenya. How do we get Nigeria to also be like that? We want to go to China and pick up a fruit and see produce of Nigeria, right? And that's where we are heading to. Our vision right now is to build a sustainable food system, right? Make sure that our produce is out there. Let people also experience. Nigerian grown strawberries are delicious, and I say this because I have tried strawberries from other countries, and when you compare them to Nigerian grown strawberries, they are the best. So our plan is to make sure that our produce not only stay within the country, but also get exported out of the country, where every Nigerian is proud to go to the grocery store and see our name, the Nigerian flag, on the label of our produce. And that's what we're working on, and we're doing that by connecting with farmers in these countries, Kenya, and we've done that. We did that in 2023. We went to Kenya and we went to learn from them, and that knowledge that we learned, we put it back into our farmers, and now we're growing blueberries in Nigeria just because of that trip that we took. And that's what we want to keep doing. We want to keep going out there, expanding our market, learning, reaching out, gathering data, and just fixing the food system. That's what we exist to fix, the food system. Thank you very much.
Opportunities are all around us.
There are so many opportunities. Not only Plateau State, but there are so many opportunities in agriculture, but people are not tapping into it. There are lots of opportunities, right, for the youth to come into agriculture, solve our problems, create solutions to the problems that not only farmers face, but also we as agriculturists, we also face. One of our major problems is logistics. Another problem is packaging. The cartons that we use to ship this produce, we don't have enough of it. We are shipping this, we are buying these cartons or creating them locally, but there's not enough. Right now, you can't think of someone that is helping us solve the issue of cartons, packaging materials. Those are the things that we need people to come into. Think of agriculture as not just agriculture, but like as a business, agribusiness. How can you help, aggregators? How can you help the farmers? How can you come in logistics? Think of how you can help every part of the food system, right? Think of solutions to solve those problems.
Let's, on a lighter note, coming from fear to confidence. What would you say about food system?
I would say Plateau State is a home of opportunities. There's so many opportunities there. I found one, and if you go to Plateau State, you may discover one, but just keep your mind open. Don't go to just Plateau State with the fear that I had, right? Be open-minded. Where can you come in? Another area that somebody can come in just Plateau State is agrotourism. It's something that is booming. Plateau State is beautiful, right? Agrotourism is the future of food. Think of how you can infuse that. You can become a tour guide in Plateau State. You can start bring people to Plateau State, show them around. Those are all the things that I believe that people need to look at.
Giving people the ideas.
Yes, their business ideas. It's not only ideas for only me. I can't do everything.
So despite what we hear in the media about insecurity and everything,
it's not always like that.
Thank you so much for your time.
It's not always like that every single time. It's not as if when you go into Plateau State you get shot immediately. It doesn't happen like that. Everywhere in Nigeria, I would say everywhere in Nigeria is not safe, but everywhere has its risk. Everywhere in Nigeria has its risk. Right, so I have been in Plateau State for the past how many years now, since 2018, and that's all I just have to say now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.